Welcome in, guys, to our preview every single NFL team for the 2022 season, and we're back in the AFC North with the Cincinnati Bengals, and they had a really great season last year. The Bengals got all the way to the Super Bowl, runners up in the Super Bowl, but then it wasn't all going to be like that in the beginning. Like, look at Burrow's start to the 2021 season. They was losing to the Bears. Zach Taylor was getting questioned. Is he the guy to take the Bengals to that next level? Same with Burrow. Was he mid? I mean, I was even calling him mid myself. I was saying he's not that good, whatever. But mid-season, they changed it around. They win the first playoff game since 1990. They win the first AFC Championship game, beat the Chiefs, and win the first AFC Championship game since 1988. Get to Super Bowl, and they just lose that by a 3-point game. Unlucky enough, but can they bounce back? But I'm going to talk about that today, this upcoming 2022 season. So in the offseason, they needed to get that protection around Burrow. Burrow was getting sacked way too many times last year, not just in the Super Bowl, but in the regular season. He needed some protection on the offensive line. And then you look at Alex Kapp, the guard from the Bucks. He was protecting Brady for a number of years with Antonio Brown. Tight end Hayden Hurst from Atlanta. Halen Collins, the tackle. And then tight end Nichols Eubanks from the Lions. And then in the draft, Dexton Hill as a safety from Michigan. Cam Taylor-Britt, a cornerback from Nebraska. Zachary Carter, defensive tackle from Florida. Jason Anderson, safety from safety. Jeffrey Gunner, defensive tackle from Coastal Carolina. But then, going back to what I said about the Burrow's game, like last year in the offseason, he got 72.3% of his passing for an average of 350 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That he was a real good elite caller in the mid part of the season. He had but he had 14 interceptions in this 14 interceptions happened last year from his play calling. Again, that needs to stop with. Like, you're trying to get to an elite level, like 14 interceptions in a year. Cut that shit out. Offensive line needed to protect Burrow. They was putting him in a lot of harm. But again, they still did the best offensively. Just they need to cut out the whole thing of, like, sometimes when Burrow try to do a play call, he's like there's no protection around him, no guards and shit like that. And then they addressed that, like I said earlier. And in my opinion, like, you look at Ted Carriers for New England, and then you look at Collins. They're going to pair well with Jonah and Jackson as the left guard. You've got Jamar Chase, who's a threat down the third and in the middle. Also, you got Higgins, who had 74 catches last year. And then, but again, you look at Higgins and you look at Jamar Chase. I love the chemistry between Jamar Chase and Burrow. That chemistry they had last season. That was great. I loved how Burrow could intimidate the passing game from a defensive, from opposing defenses. That's all good and great. And then we talk about the defense, and a lot of times last year the defense wasn't that great. But again, you don't need a great defense to win a Super Bowl. It's not all about the defense. I know that you can, you need to protect your quarterbacks, but again, the defense isn't the sole thing to win a championship. It's not 1985, 1990 football anymore. This is 2022 football. But they still have Lou Aramono as the defensive core. He did great play calls, especially against that Mahomes game. In the second half of the game, like, you could see there was 27-3 going into the third. and then that was Lewis Colley was playing the call for the defensive side of things. Trey Hendricks did 14 sacks last year. He's one of the best pass rushers in the league. So where do I think the Bengals are going to finish? Where do I think they're going to finish? Like, they're going to finish first in their division of the AFC North. Like, you look at Baltimore, they had a good draft. I said, and just a couple of days ago, I said they'll finish second. Bengals first, but again, it could be the Browns. But again, the Browns, I'm going to talk about them when I get to the Browns. But Deshaun Watson has 11 game suspension, so we don't know how that's going to play out for the Browns. But I could see the Bengals getting first, getting into the playoffs, hopefully getting to another championship game. Because again, this learning experience with these guys, they're still young guys. They're not. These guys are from the draft. Like, you look at Jamar Chase, look at Higgins, you look at the mix, and like these guys have experience now of going into an AFC championship game, going into a Super Bowl now, and now they have these additions, especially of the offensive side of the ball, like defensive side of the ball. With you have improved with Alex Kapp and all these other guys to protect Burrow now. You can actually, I'm not going to say win the Super Bowl because again the Rams are going to be favorites, but you can challenge a Philadelphia or whoever and get yourself back up there because you need to win a championship with this team. You don't want to be one of those teams in a couple years' time when people talk about great football teams and you think about the teams that never, it was a great team together but they never won shit together. Like, they never do it now. Why the chance is hot. You've got a young head coach in Zach Taylor from the Sean McVay learning tree, who's done great in the NFL. You've got Burrow, you've got the guys, you've got the elite quarterback, the elite weapons around him, you've got the defensive line fixed with the additions in the free agency, and look what you've done in the draft this year with the safeties. The time is now for the Cincinnati Bengals.